So what I'm going to do today is show you some of the features in Piskel that you might not be aware of, and I'm going to do that by doing what I'm asking you to do, which is create a sprite from scratch. I've literally never created this before. I have no plan. I am just sitting down for a half hour and seeing what I come up with. If you notice on the left-hand side of the screen, I have magnified the tool bar area. So you see like a double there. That's just so you can see what I'm currently using. And on the right-hand side of the screen, I have magnified the layer window and the transform window. And I'll tell you what I do with those as I use them. Right now, I am starting by selecting a color palette. So I have easy access to the only colors that I want to use in this. I'm just choosing a few colors. And the important thing to understand here is I have never done this before. So I'm very much in the same position as you are if you haven't done this before. And I spend a lot of time in this video, even though you're going to see like a half-hour video sped up in the course of 5 minutes. I spend a lot of time just messing around, seeing what stuff looks like. And that's a very important part of doing this. So right now I'm just using the circle tool, and I'm going to create my first color, red. And if you look on the right-hand side of the transform part, where you see a triangle, an arrow, sheep, and an intersection, those things just turn and flip and center whatever your image is. And you'll see me hit that a lot. The other thing above the transform part is a layer panel. And layers are literally like when you used to cut out construction paper and then glue shapes on top of each other. It's the same thing with this. Right now, I made a layer, I called it red, because the red part of the flame is on that layer. And then the orange part is on the bottom layer right now. And I put things on different layers because I want the red part to be able to move without moving the orange part. If you look at animation, especially in anime and South Park, you'll notice a lot that people's mouths move without anything else on their face moving. That's because their mouth is on a separate layer. If you're going to animate a character, you'll put legs, arms on different layers so you can move one leg without moving the rest of the body. And that's all I'm doing right now, is just creating, I don't know, like 4 or 5 layers of different colors that kind of are in the shape of a flame. And then I'm probably going to move them around a little bit and make more frames. And you can see on the left-hand side of the screen by the pencil, I've made an additional frame. A frame is a stage in the animation, and you're going to see what that looks like at the end. So right now I'm just putting colors on the screen and stacking them. Right now yellow's on top. I just put the white one. Also, the button I just hit there just kind of darkens or lightens the colors you already have there. It's just to kind of, I don't know, give kind of like the effect of depth. Again, I'm literally just like playing around, seeing what looks good. And if you notice, I keep hitting that transform thing and just flipping the individual color layers one way or the other to see what they look like. The other thing I'm pressing a lot, if you look where it says white, yellow, orange, red, you'll see A. That is the alpha, they call it. And basically, you can't see it pop up, but when I click on that A number pops up on the screen. And it's either a 1 through 0 or 0 through 1. And if that number's on 1, you can't see through the layer. If the number's on 0, it's like glass. You can see right through it. So that's called adjusting the opacity or transparency. And I encourage you to give it a try just to see how it works. The other thing I'm doing is if you look in the bottom left-hand corner where you see a black square and then a checkerboard square, that is your left and right mouse button. And the left button right now, if I press it, will produce black. And the right mouse button, if I press it, will erase whatever I put on there. So that's just a useful thing to know. As you can see right now, I'm just kind of trying things out to get the torch handle. I put it on the top layer, so it covers that bottom half of the flame, and you can only see the flame sticking out the top of it. And just making this up as I go along. Also, you'll see me press the sheep a lot. coming up on the right-hand side. When I press the sheep, if you look on the left-hand side, you might want to pause and rewind. It actually copies that torch or whatever else you're drawing to every single frame in your animation. Right now I have 5 frames. There's 5 different pictures in my animation. And hitting that sheep just applies all the edits you made on one frame to the rest of them. So now what I'm going to do, I have it pretty much almost done, is I make a big mistake. I spend a good portion of the half hour on this trying to make a cool background for this torch, which is a problem because you do not want a background for these assets that you're creating. You want the background to be transparent or nothing. So when you put this asset in your game, the background is the background of your game, or the background of the wall that you put this torch on. So the other thing is, like, even though I spend so much time trying to make a cool background and ultimately fail, it's fine. Like, this is how work goes. You spend a lot of time working on something only to find that you did it wrong or you don't use it. But in the process, you're still getting better and you're still learning. And if you look up on the right-hand side there, I have the final product on the screen, kind of slowly going in. I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. And there you have it, my first attempt at making an animated torch with a flame. So pick any object that might be in a video game, from person, place, animal, thing, and just try to animate it and mess around with some layers. If you feel like it, look for other YouTube videos or rewatch this without the sound, pause it, copy what I do. It doesn't matter. Right now, we're practicing this week. The thing you want to do, though, is save your project. I show you how to save in the previous video, so go look at that if you forget. But in the meantime, have fun. Good luck.